Hello, and welcome to Under the Plumbob. We talk about the EA game about Sims. Oh my god. I did a great job.
So good.
So, right now Sims 4 is out, but that's not... Oh wait, I'm Caitlin. I'm here today. Who's with me?
Yes, hi, I'm Ava. Sorry, my cat was going for my leftover crackers.
In my defense, I haven't had a full cup of coffee yet, but I'm always bad at intros, so that's neither here nor there. But I'm also just excited to talk about what we're talking about today because while we all have problems with Sims 4, all of our hearts belong to other Sims games pretty much, and my heart always belongs to Sims 2. And right now we are talking about the last expansion pack that was released for Sims 2, Apartment Life. And they really were just like, fuck it, have whatever, take it.
Yeah,
we're
just all the post-its of possible things that we could still put in an expansion pack. We just collected them all and put them in one pack because this is going to be the last one. It was just like, we still wanted to try this, this, and this. We should put it all in there.
And you know what? It's not our fault if your game breaks with it because we're done. Well, there was one more thing released after this, but like for the most part, we're done. We don't care about the status of your computer anymore.
No, that's fine. You don't need it. You're gonna have to buy a new one to run The Sims 3 anyway, so who cares?
You need an updated state-of-the-art highest graphics card. To this day, you probably still need
preferably
an
one that runs on uranium or something. Nuclear energy and virgin sacrifices. That's what you need to run The Sims 3.
Black magic and caffeine straight into your hard drive.
You need to overclock with pure caffeine and some water. But yeah, we are talking because it's perfect timing because
happy 2024.
Oh yeah, happy 2024 from the past.
I was gonna
say future, but no, that's not right.
You're in the future. We're in the past. It's still 2023.
Yep.
But yes, it is a year. You're right.
Yes. So technically, Happy New Year. Hopefully, it starts going uphill from now on because the last couple of the last 7 years or so have kind of been a lot.
What do you mean?
Yeah, no, you're right. Absolutely fine. Nothing wrong here.
Nothing's gone any way, any direction.
But it's like this pack specifically is good timing because the latest pack that was released for The Sims 4 had to do with apartments. So it's a good way to step from the future back to the past.
To the past, like we're doing right now.
Yeah, to see what apartments were like in The Sims 2. So apartments. Let's talk about apartments. You know, back in the day, it was a great way for a single person to own property. But now it's just a way for rich people to get even richer by buying up units and renting them at prices that would have black market organ sellers go, damn, dude, calm down. You know, it's kind of like where Sims has become the only way most of us will ever own property, you know, unless a relative dies and leaves them some sweet, sweet currency. It also gives us the opportunity to find out how it feels to rent an apartment without having to promise your firstborn to a middle-aged white man who will drop around your place without notice when he feels like it, but disappears off the map when your stove explodes. I mean, I think we've all been there at some point. We've had that landlord, right?
I had Nancy show up to look at the exploded stove, and then she left. Did you do anything about it? No, but she came over.
She was there. She showed up.
And you knew the minute she showed up in that white jacket I gave her, she wasn't going to help you with that stove.
No, absolutely not. Oh, God, I still can't get over the fact that you were so horrible.
I tried!
And they never revolted, and I wasn't even a landlord for 24 hours, and they were already like, revolt! But it's fine. It's fine. So, The Sims 1 gave us a first. That was like the first detailed life simulator where you could go into the day-to-day life of a person and, you know, control their every move. The Sims 2 was kind of a collection of firsts in that degree. Like, it was the first time we had multiple life stages, the first time we had weather, the first time we had cars, and also the first time we had apartments. And The Sims 2 gave The Sims 2 Apartment Life gave The Sims a chance to trade their amazing, lone-standing, multi-story homes to go live in a shoebox sandwich between an opera singer who works from home and a professional gravity tester. So, let's find out how that went for everybody.
I did try to be. I was sitting here going like, well, technically, because in The Sims, like, it doesn't really. The bills feel the same almost per the bills of owning a home and the bills in an apartment. Like, they're not that different in Sims 4 and in Sims 2. Like, I was trying to think of the bill system of like,
Is it cheaper to live in the apartment? But then you're like, I'm literally paying the same.
it depends on your landlord. But I think it is cheaper in Sims. Well, no, because it's 62. If it's like $62 a day, it might be cheaper short term. But 62 times 7 is 434 simoleons. So maybe not. But you don't have the big base. Like if I don't have $20,000,
True.
it's the cycle that we're in right now. I have the money for a mortgage. I don't have the money to buy a house.
Yeah. That's basically the way it was for me too. I bought my first apartment because it was literally cheaper for me to get the mortgage than it was to rent. But obviously I had help because otherwise there's no way I would have been able to do that. Same thing with my house. I was the one with an unfortunate relative passing away and leaving me some buckaroonies to buy my house. And then it's kind of like, great, yeah, you got to buy this property, but also I would like to have my grandma back, please. So it's a kind of trade-off, you know? So it's kind of sad that you have to be in a situation where you're like, because now what I'm paying in a mortgage is still less than I would be paying if I was renting an apartment.
That's how it is. I technically, just my dad moved back and he wasn't going to move back to this state and live alone. So it was, I was the best option, and it's cheaper for me to pay this mortgage but I didn't have to, the big payment of the house, I didn't have to do.
It's just,
do
it comes with so many things where like, yeah, you have to have like $100,000 up front before you can even consider going to look for something. And everything that I could that was like within my price range to be able to purchase by myself without any help needed extensive renovation. So that basically would have doubled the price of what I was supposed to pay. And now they're starting to bring in all these rules where like you have to have certain, structural renovations done within a certain time span. So if like you need to renew the roof or the electricity or whatever, it has to be done within X amount of years. So you can't even say, I'm going to buy this property cheap and I'm going to renovate it like room by room, just go like room by room and like finish something, save up some more, finish another thing. Can't even do that anymore.
Mansion challenge.
Yeah, kind of like the mansion challenge, but you can't even do it anymore because the government's like, you have 5 years to turn this literal ruin into a functioning home, preferably as eco-friendly as possible. If you don't have a B label, fuck you, you know? So, yeah, renting an apartment is expensive and kind of like throwing money into a black hole because you're not going to get it back. But buying a house, especially if you're a single person, is like cheaper for your monthly payments, but it's impossible to actually arrive to the point where you're like, yeah, I can buy this now. And especially if you're renting, there's no way you're going to be able to save up to get one. And it's just capitalism. Anyway, on a less depressing note, when was Apartment Life released? How long ago? Make me feel old, Caitlin.
Okay, so before I could be like, I was just a kid. Da, 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 da. This was released August 8th, 2008. So I was like in my second year of college, and I hated that. I also, eventually when I bought this game, this expansion pack, I bought it on Origin, which just went away. And that's why I have the Sims 2 Deluxe with all of them, because if you had one Sims 2 game, they were just like, fuck it, have have all of them when they discontinued it. So because I bought this one pack in Origin, that's why I have it. But I was an idiot adult I wasn't a child. I guess a teenager. But it did get me all the packs eventually. So
the deluxe edition.
Or whatever it's called.
I had that too. They were like, oh yeah, can you give us a receipt of any of the packs that you bought? And I was like, no, but I can show you the discs. So I sent them a picture of the discs, and then they were like, yeah, that's fine, here, you can have it.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't think they do that anymore, though.
No, not anymore. And also they're like, I think they're getting grumpier about people trying to do it. Because people get it, and then it's not supported, which they tell them, like, we don't we don't handle this at all anymore. Please don't ask us questions. And people complain that it's not supported. And they're like, we told you up the front, we're not doing anything with this. You got to make it work on your own. And then people get mad that they have to make it work. It's a whole cycle of like, we don't want to give it to you because you're mad that you have to do work to make it work. And then you get mad that we gave it to you, but then you have to do stuff with it. But we told you we weren't going to do anything.
And I do remember that you had to do a lot. Like, you had to go into the INI files and like change certain rules, because otherwise you'd have those little boxy shadow things. And
well, there's also a quick cheat for that. There was like just shadows, like you just there was a quicker way to fix it rather than the whole going in there one.
Yeah, but that did mean that you had to activate that cheat every time you logged on, whereas
I did that anyway. Like, let's be real, that cheat's always on. Like,
I mean, yeah, that is true.
Okay, this is the 8th and last expansion pack for Sims 2, as we said, and here's the summary they gave you. Ready? Your Sims are moving into a brand new apartment and their lives will never be the same. Adventure, fun, and drama await them as they meet new people and explore their new neighborhood. Will they take their kids to the local playground, mingle in coffee shops, or hit the park to learn from the breakdancers? Close quarters mean new opportunities. Move in with compatible roomies for a thriving social life. Advance your career with the right social network, or find true love just down the hall. Whether they live in artsy converted lofts, the ultimate studio bachelor pads, or luxury apartments with their own butler, your Sims will experience all the excitement of apartment life. Witches are not mentioned in there at all.
Yeah, no, there was like
no mention.
Oh, by the way, but they
Magic.
make it sound so much nicer than it actually is to live in an apartment.
I like I wanted to live in an apartment so bad. I actually kind of miss apartmentness of just like, this broke, not my problem.
Fair. The whole this broke, not my problem thing, I feel that in my soul, because I have a list of things that need to be fixed and an approximate estimation of how much it's going to cost me to fix them, and it's making me sad every time I think about it. But also, I do not miss being in such close proximity of strangers, because when I still lived in my apartment, there were 3 apartments in that building, and I was the only one who, like, the only owner who lived there. The other 2 were rentals, and everything related to the building that had to be, like, fixed or whatever fell to me.
Oh.
And that time my ground floor neighbor got drunk and forgot his key and decided he could smash the glass in the front door to get back inside. The cops came knocking on my door because I was the only one registered as, living there and being an owner. So shit like that I do not miss.
My property, because I was on the first floor. I do remember, like, when I was telling the electric people to move my bill to a different address, and I was like, you can move it to this apartment. It's apartment 1. And she went, ooh, apartment 1. I was like, I know. But every once in a while, the person who ran the property would be like, there was garbage left on the front door. Do you know who did that? And I was like, no. Why would I? I don't know anything. But here are the features that came with Sims 2 apartment life. You got apartments, obviously. Roommates were not available before. Social class and social class group townies associated with social class. Reputation, witches for some reason, and new neighborhood. And for a fun fact, this was never released on the Mac. It's this and like one other pack are the only 2 packs not released for Mac for Sims 2, and nobody like understands why
because
they did
it's
that.
Mac.
But why the other ones and not this one?
Because
I guess
it's Mac.
But why?
Because...
That does not. But why the other ones and not this one?
Shh, don't question it. I don't know. Maybe there was something, like some feature that they couldn't get to work with the iOS. I don't know. There's just, because when it comes to games, Mac is notoriously not
Especially
great.
This region of games, like this time period for games.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how it is now with The Sims 4 on Mac and integration and everything. I just remember when I found out, I think this was still during Sims 2 era, when I found out that the Mac mouse only had like one button. And if you wanted to right click, you had to press a button on your keyboard and click. I was like, how the hell do you play The Sims with that?
Same way people play it with controllers. I don't understand. They're brave people.
Does not compute in my brain. But those are features that we did not have before. That's great. We have like this amazing capitalist example of a pack, and it comes with social class.
Well, it's odd because, like, some of them grouped together, you're like, "Yeah, I guess." So, like, reputation and I guess so reputation and social class and, like, I guess roommates and apartments make sense together, but, like, some of it together, you're like, "Why witches and reputation in the same pack?
Yeah,
Why?"
that's something I never really understood either. Cause like, yeah, when you say apartments, the first thing that comes to mind is witches! Of
Yeah.
course, why
Just,
not?
in your apartment with your cauldron, just churning out some spells and
And
your
I'm sure your
roommates.
neighbors aren't gonna start complaining about the awful smell coming from your apartment.
And so let's start with the social class aspect of it because also it's one thing to just chuck into the last bit of your game to be like, "Oh, yeah, now like every single lot, like this backdated. So every single lot is now associated with class 2 and it's like depending on how big the lot is, how expensive the objects on the lot are. I don't know what this means how high the lot class surrounding. Oh, I guess so if like there's high or low last like the plots of land around you, what they're like.
Neighborhood value?
Yeah. Yes. And how many households I don't know what they meant by this. How many households consist in the lot if the lot is residential? I don't know what that meant. Like, how many people are on the lot?
I guess how many apartments there are, like, how many family units could live there, like, how
But it
big the
said
building is.
residential, not apartment. So I didn't understand what that meant.
Would that consist of a difference?
Because, like, every single lot got this value put on it. So even if it was a household, if it was a single, like, this is a house, this is an apartment, and it specified residential, not apartment lot. And I don't understand what it meant by if you know what that means, leave a comment because I don't understand.
Me neither.
I read it yesterday and I thought maybe today me would get it. Today me doesn't get it. And then each class comes with a different set of townies. So they're group townies. They come with their own gesture and story. And these townies live in the apartments not occupied by their Sims. So say if you're in a low class, like it's a small lot. Nothing expensive's on the lot. Everything around it's trash. You're in a low class apartment, you're going to end up with certain townies. And if you're in a high class one, you're going to end up with other townies. So you can meet different townies depending on where you're living. And there was 10 pre-made townies for each group. So there was 50 new townies added, 5 girls, 5 guys. Does that make sense?
That's yeah, perfectly balanced as all things should be.
As all things should be. And also, so also the class depended on how the noise level associated. So like if you were in a low class, it was more likely that like maybe the walls were thinner. So you're gonna hear noise from your apartment. Or maybe they're just more ruckusy. Who knows? So there was a 10% noise probability. Also, the noise woke you up if your bedroom was in there and it was like the biggest pain in the ass.
Still is though. Sims 4 with God, which was it? The town, the first time we got apartments.
The city living.
City living.
I knew a pack for once.
There was just I remember one playthrough, I swear to God, she got woken up by loud noises every single fucking night. And I was like, it's fine, I'm just gonna let it go. And then after like the 7th time, finally told her to go like bang on the neighbor's door to quiet down. And they were like, hey, we live here too, you know. We're allowed to do things. Like, I haven't
Every
slept
night.
in a week.
Every
Haven't
night.
slept in a week. Please. Please.
So the low class came with a 10% noise probability. Not great. It always felt like when I played this, they always had noise coming through. So I don't know. Like it felt like it happened all the time. So maybe I just was choosing unclassy apartments. Um. So if you were so say if you and I were sharing a wall, we would have a noise probability problem. But if you were below me, then you won't. If you didn't share a wall and you just shared floors or ceilings with people, then no probability, which also probably leans into the more expensive the apartment, the less noise probability.
Yeah, because I think I remember some of the apartments, like the really expensive ones, had like just the penthouses, but like nothing below.
Hmm. But the noise below wouldn't have ever bothered you because it's just sharing the wall.
The
Would do it.
peasants can't reach you.
No, keep them in the dirt.
Yeah.
The first low class, quote unquote. This also felt very British. I don't know why. Was the Gearhead Townies. So tough handshake.
They did look very punk with like the mohawks and
Yeah,
everything and the leather. Yeah.
and they were like black torn clothes. They like to talk about mechanics. They were usually employed in architecture, slacker, journalism, criminal, or music career. The next that you would get in low class, you'd get bohemians. So these are a group of nonconformists. Their gesture was an earthy hug. They like to talk about art. They normally wore like green clothes, like, oh, I'm with nature, yay, like stuff like that.
Earthy tones.
They were employed as artists, dance, culinary, music, natural science, and entertainment, oceanography. If you were in a middle class apartment, there was a 5% noise probability. You would get the bohemians again. The bohemians were in low class or middle class. You would also get jocks. Jocks would gesture in high fives. They like to talk about sports. Very Ken of them. My job is beach.
Up top, bro.
They were employed as adventurers, architecture, oceanography is probably kind of an interesting one. Athletic, dance, law enforcement, or military, and everybody's just like workout clothes, which there was a lot of workout clothes in apartment living. If I remember correctly. There was a lot of cute workout clothes.
Very, very leisure wear.
Mm-hmm. The cast in apartment living was nice too. Techs were also middle class. They did the fake out. This is when you greet them when the gesture happens. They did a fake out one. They like to talk about computers. They were in education, business, gamer, science, paranormal, or intelligence, and they dressed in like dark clothes and modern suits.
I love you could actually go like to the you could go to the Ghost Adventures route with this. Put them in the paranormal career.
Paranormal career was fun.
Put them in cargo pants and give them like weird shaped glasses, and you got Zach Baggins.
Mm-hmm.
Love that.
High class, if you were a peasant high class person and had to share a wall with somebody, there was a 2% noise possibility. You would also get techs. I forgot to put that here. You also got techs in high class, and you also got socialites, and they did the kiss kiss darling, so like mwah, mwah, as their gesture. They like to talk about fame. They're employed as business, law, politics, journalism, medicine, and show business, and they dress stylish, like kind of like, I guess they kind of dress like Emily Gilmore from Gilmore Girls. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I would also like to point out that the kiss kiss darling is in America considered something for socialites and fancy people to do. It's literally how my colleagues greet me every morning. The French ones, anyway. The Flemish ones, not so much. We prefer to keep like our personal space, and we like wave from a distance.
It's a lot of contact with
Yeah.
someone I may not want contact with.
Yeah, all the French colleagues when they arrive, it's like, oh, hey, good morning. Mwah. I was like, oh, fine. You get used to it.
It's like, Jesus.
That's why COVID was kind of like a blessing in disguise, because all of a sudden you had to keep like, social distance and everything. It's like, oh, no kisses. I'll wave to you.
Anyway, apartments.
Yes, apartments.
A new type of lot added to the Sims franchise. No apartments before now.
Yeah, Sims 2, first time that ever happened. More than one household on one lot without having to be up in each other's space.
Or having to control like 8 Sims at once if you don't want to do that.
Oh, good God, yeah, no, that was not great. I think it was a maximum of 4 households that could be in the same building.
Mm-hmm.
You could place the apartments in the base neighborhood in downtowns and business districts, but not in like vacation districts or colleges. So you couldn't live in an apartment as a college student.
I think because those have very temporary life stages would be my bet. Like you can't be there forever.
Yeah, they're not really. It was impossible on holiday to put residential lots down anyway, because I think the lots also had specific like necessities that had to be there for it to be able to function, like the hotel reception desk, the special doors, etc.
Yeah.
And well, the colleges obviously had the dorms, so I think it's just the lot type didn't function in that specific neighborhood.
And like the timeline of like, because if you live in a college town, the timeline is done by semester.
Yeah.
And they would have to redo the whole town to make you live there normally. So just easier for them to be like, no. Again, last pack, we don't care. We're not reworking shit.
True. But let's do some math and see if this is correct. And if I'm not being an absolute dumbass, but 4 times 8 is how much?
I don't know. Why are you asking me questions? Hold on.
I thought it was 32, but here it says that one apartment building can hold up to 36 player-controlled Sims.
Yes, but that includes pets.
Oh, okay. Cool. So 1 pet per family, basically.
if you wanted to, yes.
Yeah.
Or just one person has a bunch of pets.
Yeah. But basically what that does mean, though, is that the more people live in the building, obviously that's going to affect your performance. Just as if you would put like 8 Sims in a lot, will obviously be a lot slower than having just 2 or 3. So that was something to take into account. So yes, you could have 4 apartments filled to the brim with, the full 8 people per apartment, but it would make things significantly slower, especially if your machine was already a little bit on the older side.
Also, they do dumb shit. If you're not controlling
Yeah.
Sims, they do dumb shit. I had multiple I had a Sim die from being outside, being cold, like they froze to death, and so everyone
Yeah.
ran outside to cry about it, and I was like, "You're all gonna freeze." Like a
Yep.
couple of them almost froze to death because they were all outside crying about the Sim dying, which is, I think, that's a Sim tradition of like, you all are causing. This is an honored Sim thing of like, this is your stop. Stop.
You're not wrong. That does happen a lot. Especially when it's like with a fire, it's like one thing sets on fire and then everybody's like, we have to go stand here and point and scream at the fire instead of moving away from it so that we can't catch fire. And then one person catches on fire and then we all have to go and stand around this one person to watch them burn, and then one of us is going to catch fire. And yeah.
It's like those. I'm trying to think like, if your friend jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? Well, if I was programmed to, I would.
If they were Sims, yes. Yes, they would.
So there was a whole process to move in. You weren't just like, I click this, I move in, I did it. You would click on the lot. So the little icon looked different, and you would click on the lot, and you would show up on the lot, and your landlord would be there. And you would have, the doors would be like, I think a little shiny about the ones that you could select. So at this point, you've chosen this lot to move in on. You haven't chosen an apartment. And there's a couple of you can just click one and go for it if you know exactly where you're moving into, which if you played it enough, you do know all the lots. But say you're new and you didn't know, you could click on it and you could check out apartment. And when you select to check it out, during this time, the inside of the apartment will become visible, because once you get there, everything is just dark on the inside of the lot. You can't see anything on the inside of any of the apartments. So when you click check out this apartment, it would
It would be
light up
furnished and it would be done for you, yeah.
so you could see, like, is this a 2-bedroom? Is this a yada yada? What's included if I just buy it? And then that way you could pick which one you wanted. And then you would select this one.
Go like, I would like to rent this one, please.
And you don't have to do it, but it does help. Renting, you would click on the apartment door and select rent. It'll show you the weekly rent price, and the price is based off the apartment size. When you rent the apartment, it will be unfurnished, but there is a way around that, which I always did because
Yes.
I hate decorating. Bullprop testing sheets enabled true, which is always open, always up. Then you select the door and then rent furnished apartment, because technically they had to furnish all these apartments if like a random townie moved in and you wanted to visit them. They always had it furnished just in case like somebody else so something else could move in.
Also, just a comment on the bullprop cheat. There is, I believe, a difference in availability, like which cheats are available if you enter it on neighborhood, like when you're in the neighborhood, and while you actually enter it while you're in a family. So always make sure that you enter it in the neighborhood, and then you will have all options available, because I think the options were limited if you entered it in a family. At least that's what I found.
This one would happen if you did it in the family, because I always did it once I was in.
Because the first thing I did when I logged in and I was on neighborhood screen was putting in bullprop testing cheats enable true, because I knew I was going to use it. I never played without it.
Anyone who's seen me stream anytime and has seen me place down a house knows I don't remember to put any cheats down before I start playing, because I load a house and then I go, shit, move objects, and then I put move objects in, then I replace the house.
I had the exact same thing happen to me yesterday. I put the house
Every
down and I
time.
was like, oh fuck. Forget. And sometimes they're very helpful, the builders, and they put like hashtag moo in the comments. I don't look.
I don't
see it. It's no good. But just that was just a little extra on the bullprop testing cheats enable true thing.
I love that cheat so much.
It's also uppercase sensitive. So it's like the bool is lowercase b, then it's an uppercase P, and then testing has a lowercase t, and then uppercase C and uppercase E.
Oh, this isn't accurate, what I typed in here. I just
No, it is accurate.
oh, did I? Oh, good for me.
It
Maybe
is
it's
accurate.
ingrained in my
Yeah, no,
brain.
I still recognize it. It's completely accurate. And, like, bullprop is one word, and then testing cheese enabled is, like, one word, and then true.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
it's still
And then the only way to turn it off is put it in and put false.
yeah, and it's not like you put on BB move objects on and you just put that on again and it'll turn it off, or BB move objects in general. No, you absolutely had to type true or false if you wanted to switch it on and off, 'cause the good old days. But yeah, if you want a furnished apartment, that's a good way to do it. Just cheat your way into it.
I was so happy. That's why I was so happy to do apartments a lot of the time too, because I was like, I don't have to worry about furniture.
Yay! Comes in the box.
Yeah, because also like you don't have to pay for it. It's just furnished.
Yeah, it's just there. 'Cause not a lot of apartments here are furnished, but when I lived in Ireland and the UK, pretty much all of the apartments were furnished.
I don't know how I'd feel about that because then it's like it definitely feels like you're in somebody else's space.
Yeah, but I think it was mostly because it was a lot of young people, like new young professionals, so they would probably be moving from space to space.
Oh, so it's just better just to not worry
Yeah,
about
so
them.
you're not gonna move an entire fucking dining room set or whatever, bedroom set with you every time you go. So these were usually furnished.
I did that for 10 years. Every year I
Yeah.
moved and it sucked so much.
Yeah, but I think you could, like in most cases, you could, because I believe I had one roommate who had back problems. He's like, I need a specific like mattress. So he was allowed to, like, the landlady removed the bed and put it in storage, and he was allowed to bring in his own bed and then take it with him when he left. So
Oh,
that was decent. But here it's not the case. It's unfurnished. Like there will be the basic necessities, you'll have your kitchen appliances and everything will be there. Whereas in Germany, you will not have a kitchen. You will have
nope.
to get yeah, you'll have to get your own kitchen and move your kitchen with you. That is something that I recently found out. I did not know that. It's like some apartments, most apartments that you rent in Germany, no fucking kitchen. It's like why though? You have to buy a kitchen, put it in your apartment.
We come with appliances. Maybe not washers or dryers, but yeah, fridge most of the time is included. Same with like an oven and stove.
Yeah, like
That
oven,
seems
stove, stuff.
normal.
Microwave, no, unless it's built in.
Yeah, microwave you'd bring.
Most of the built-in appliances are there.
Do you want to talk about the landlord while I eat this
Yeah,
this
yeah.
scrambled eggs?
Let me talk about my favorite aspect of renting, the landlord. I think most people know how I feel about landlords. I'm not a fan. I have had several over the course of my time of living alone and with roommates. They were never great. I had my two Scottish landlords who basically docked me for my deposit because the cooker wasn't cleaned, because that was the one thing that they told you, like, when you move out you have to clean the kitchen, you have to clean the cooker. It's like, cool. So the day we were supposed to meet up for inspection, I cleaned the cooker, and then they called me. I was like, we can't make it today. How about tomorrow? Just leave the key in the apartment. I was like, cool, because I was a dumbass when I was 20. And then the next day I come back and they're like, oh yeah, we can't give you your entire deposit because the cooker wasn't clean. I was like, okay, but it was clean yesterday though. And it was like, yeah, but we're doing the inspection today. We were supposed to do it yesterday, but it was clean yesterday. And he's like, well, it's not clean today. Okay, but there's still someone living there who had used the cooker in the meantime. And I didn't have a kitchen. I didn't have a key anymore, so I couldn't go up and clean the cooker while I was waiting for you today. So yeah, there's a special place in hell for landlords like that, man. I have feelings on the topic, but I'm not going to bore you with that. We'll talk about what the landlords in The Sims do and if they're better. So basically, every morning, your landlord will come and perform daily services and maintenance. They will exterminate any roaches or repair any broken things in common areas. They will also complain if your apartment is noisy or dirty. So keep that shit clean and zip your lips. They will come and ask for overdue rent. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me because I was always terrified about not paying rent. They
Same.
can.
Sorry, it took a long time to I was like,
I saw you were like trying to like, say something. I was like, is she gonna talk or no?
yes, same. I was like, I'm gonna pay my bills.
I know, right? I'm so terrified. The landlord can actually also lower your rent on two separate occasions if you enter a romantic relationship with them, or if you become BFFs with them. If you're in a romantic relationship with your landlord, you get a 10% rent reduction. But if you become BFFs with them, you can get a 25% reduction. So
Friends are forever.
bros before hoes? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot hire a gardener, an exterminator, or a repairman to your apartment. That's the landlord's job. So let them do it. Make them feel good about what they're there to do. Apparently, if you have little crotch goblins, your neighbors can look after them. You know, how it takes a village apparently in The Sims. That's like the utopian version of it. Your neighbors can babysit your kids. They can ask, so adults or elders can ask someone to watch kids, teenagers and up.
Sims 2 is really the epitome of what we were promised. When we
Yeah.
were in high school, what we were if you do this or that, you'll get exactly this and that. We're like, yep, everybody comes together to help. Sims 2 is exactly what we were promised
Yeah.
adult life was going to be like. I feel like if you go to college, you get a better job.
Yeah, because they never say no. You ask them to watch their kids, sure thing, neighbor.
Happy to do it.
Will do. It's like one of
Silly.
those, it's like the same level of idealism that you had in those like 50s, 60s sitcoms, you know, the perfect suburban life of like you do this, then you get this. That's just how it's promised, but that's not how it is anymore. So there's also a weekend party. And that the weekend party concept always blew my mind. Like every Saturday, the landlord would host a party. They'd make an announcement, then they turn on music and order pizza, or they would cook on the grill. So they would
They're
feed you
lonely.
every Saturday.
The landlord's so lonely.
Can you just imagine this guy buying a building and renting it just so that he could have like the semblance of having friends?
I just want to hang out. Also, you
Yeah.
don't have to go. That was my favorite part is like,
It's not mandatory. It's not like the
no.
mandatory work pizza parties. It's like you can come if you want to, but you don't have to. Whereas at
Yeah,
work,
it's
it's
not an
like,
event like
yeah,
dating or anything. It's
it's
just
just it's there, and you can walk by and grab a slice of pizza on your way out to your date or whatever. It's just there, and it wasn't like a timed event or nothing with like I don't know goals to complete or whatever. It's just like there's music playing, there's pizza there, or there's burgers there or whatever, and there's people hanging out and just do what you want whenever you want. And I just that's so beautiful to me. But yeah, that's what your landlord does for you. He actually does what a landlord should do. And if you're nice to him, he could get you a reduction on your rent, which is great.
that's all he wants. He's just he just wants a friend.
You just want a friend. But let's talk about the other side of the coin as well. 'Cause when it comes to like the quintessential apartment experience, you have one side, you have landlords. The other is roommates. So they're only available in apartments. So you can share that shoebox with someone else if you want to, and they're treated like pets.
Sure are. Your roommate's a pet.
Oh, it just makes me so freaking happy. You can select them, but you can't control them. And there was just so many jokes there about my cat being a freeloading asshole who doesn't pay rent and like comparing them to the room, but we're not going to go there. They will do whatever they feel like, and they will mostly just fulfill their needs. But yeah, they'll do
They'll
whatever.
have a job, they'll leave, they'll
Yeah,
come back.
yeah. There's just the one thing is that you can't control what they do. They will do their own thing. They have jobs, they go to work, but their salary does not go to your household funds. It just lowers the rent that you will have
Which
to
is
pay.
better. It's like
I
that's
mean, yeah,
it's
less
not your
rent,
money. It's not
fun, but you don't get to do whatever you want with what they bring in, which is, normal. You can search for a roommate using the newspaper. Oh my god, remember
newspaper.
newspapers? Ah,
Every time Sims 2 is so funny because you're just like, God, we did still use
yeah,
newspapers, I guess. Like maybe not at
yeah.
2008 times, but when this first came out, like newspapers were still in the option. Like
Yeah, and that's it. That I remember at some point when if you didn't pick them up in time, they would just accumulate, and then
and
the
they'd stop.
newspaper delivery would be like, "Hey, we can see that you have like several newspapers rotting on your porch, so you obviously don't read them, so we're not gonna bring them anymore. Okay, bye." And then you would have to get rid of all the ones that were already there before they would bring you new ones, which I
You have to
mean,
find them. You're like,
fair.
Jesus, it's in the bushes. I don't
Or
know where it
under the
is.
snow, like, after it snowed, it's like, "My newspaper is out here somewhere, where is it?" That was great, but, like, I know the cursor would give you a little like
Yeah, you're just
it's like a little X-ray cursor under the snow, but you'd still have to like slowly move over it to see where it was.
serpentine through your yard
Yeah.
trying to find the.
That's why you wanted to make sure that you had a path, because usually it would then land on the path and then you could know that like, okay, so my path is roughly here, so it's here somewhere. Yeah, so newspaper, computer, or you could place an ad over the phone. And Sims 2 still had landline phones. I think the mobile phone was a Sims University thing.
Yes, and you could mute it. And that's nice.
Yeah.
And the roommate's inventory tab, you couldn't access the roommate's inventory if they had one, but there was a roommate satisfaction tab, and if the satisfaction tab was low, then the roommate would move out. So like, if you don't let them go to the bathroom, they'll just leave.
Yep, that makes sense. Also, the number of roommates available for selection would decrease if your reputation was low. So this game, like this pack did come with a reputation system. And if you had a bad reputation, obviously people wouldn't want to live with you. So
What? I like that word gets around.
yeah. It's like this person is an absolute asshole. Don't live with them. They will lock you in a room and remove the door.
Well, then I can't move out.
I mean, oh fuck me, can you imagine living with someone and not being able to leave? Like living with someone you just absolutely hate and not being able to leave. I don't have to imagine it. I lived it. Never again. That's the one thing I told myself when I moved away from Dublin and moved back here. I was like, I will never ever live with other people again. Ever. Neighbors. Neighbors are fun. Because
Neighbors.
they live near you, but they don't live with you.
So you can like see them outside, but you don't have to live with them. So you can visit other lots and meet the neighbors by interactions in your neighbors. So you can go over to other people's apartments. If you go in the apartment, the interactions are a little different. You can't walk out with babies and puppies and kittens, unfortunately. So
I
you
mean,
can.
puppies and kittens I can sort of see, but why would you want to walk out with someone else's baby?
Sims 2, I think, was pretty bad about like people trying to leave a lot with a baby. Like they were holding it and they just never they never put it down and then they'd leave. So I think Sims 2 had to put in a couple of like stops for that. You can't start fires on other people's lots, so
Correct.
you can't help people get that insurance money.
No arson.
If you cook food in your neighbor's apartment, it comes out of your refrigerator, not theirs. So that's a workaround that also doesn't work.
You can't go and steal their food. You can't
Nope.
set fire to their place.
No, sorry. Complaints. If your sim is too loud or is too messy, the neighbors and landlords will start complaining. If they complain a lot, the relationship between you and them goes down. The same thing if they're loud a lot and you complain to them, the relationship also goes down.
Yep.
Here's the things that neighbors will get mad at all the time: jumping on the bed or couch. Don't know how they know you're doing that. Playing an instrument with the low creativity skill.
I feel that though.
Drums in general and karaoke in general. Things they will get mad at night and only at night. The stereo and TV, and I don't know if this is like if the wall connecting room is like this or if they're mad at any stereo and TV going off. Parties at nighttime, any instrument at nighttime. The toy robot crafting benches, model train, woohooing, dog barking and fighting. And the neighbors can be noisy. That depends on the lot classes we talk. And if the neighbors make noise, you can bang on the wall to make them stop or go and complain. But because your neighbors complain about the trash and sticky objects, Sims living in apartments, they will have a hard time experiencing one of the new deaths that came with this pack, which is death by flies. So if they complain a lot, they're saving your life, is what they're doing.
Yep. Yep.
You have to live on your own to
It's
die
because they
by
care.
flies.
It's because they care about you.
And themselves.
Sure. So, death by flies, though. Have you ever had it happen?
I had to force it to happen because I didn't like it.
Yeah. I also had to force it to happen, but it's very interesting.
It's like a swarm. It's really...
Yeah, it's like literally they swarm you and then there's nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the new world called Belladonna Cove.
I love Belladonna Cove.
It is very pretty.
It's huge. Also, it's the largest lot in. It's the largest neighborhood in.
Hey Sims 4. Hey Sims 4. It's huge. Just saying. Give us bigger worlds.
Also, it's the last pack. So again, they didn't give a fuck about your computer.
Look, I'm I've played the new For Rent expansion, and I'm
Yeah,
just
that
so
was.
disappointed with the
If you're gonna make
world.
an expansion, at least have double-digit lots.
Oh
Is
god,
how
it's
I feel.
just so sad. And like even most of the rent, there's only like 2 available rentals or something for
Well,
you
I
to
think they
go
gave us
into.
three. They did give us 3 empty lots for the purpose of us building our own because I think I know you don't care, but like I think that's what the purpose of the 3 empty lots was, so
I
people
know.
could build them and put them down.
There's
But
also nothing to do, which I think is
it
kind
wasn't.
of
This isn't
sad.
about that. We'll get
No,
to
it's not
it.
about that. But Belladonna Cove, so great.
So this is the little summary that it gives when you click on it. From far and wide, Sims have been drawn to beautiful Belladonna Cove. Some are looking for a quiet place to settle down. Others tango with the hustle and bustle of the more exciting districts. And distinct few have been drawn by rumors of mystical energies. Will they all be able to get along?
There's the rumor of mystical energies. That's the hint that you got.
It's the only hint so far in this game that there's witches. Only one. There's a very, very large statue of Belladonna Goth of Bella not Belladonna Goth. Bella Goth holding a plumb bob in the center of the city. The name's a fun wink at Bella, and also the fact that witches are now in the game because Belladonna is a deadly nightshade that allegedly witches like to use. So
allegedly.
there's 19 residential lots.
That's insane. 19.
That's
19!
a lot. That's a lot. Even in that's a lot. Even in Sims 3, that's a lot.
19.
Plus, like there's empty space available, so you could still place slots down. Like
yeah. Oh, when you could place lots down where you wanted. Oh, that was so great.
I really do miss that feature from just like as long as it can fit, who cares? But so there's 19 residential lots. There's 4 inhabited houses and 15 uninhabited houses. There's 14 apartment buildings and 16 community lots. So that means 15 plus 14 is 29. So there's 29. You could have 29 families if like one household is in each one. And then there's 14 apartment buildings. So then that times 4. So if you really wanted 14 times 4, 56 plus 19. 75. You have 75 families just if you were in here and you didn't add a downtown or business district. And then if you also didn't add any other thing, you'd have 75 families. Your game would probably not be doing well.
Possibility that there might be some smoke escaping from your computer. Yes, but I mean, damn. It's like I always say with like mods and everything, if your rig isn't smoking, you're not doing it right. It needs more mods. But still though, compared to what we have now, it's just and that's what always makes me sad. The worlds look great, but there's just not a lot of space.
And there's different districts along to go with the new class edition. So there's slums, there's a trailer park, there's a city core, suburbs, Martin district, and then the hills where the fancy people reside. And there's a helicopter pad somewhere. I think I read somewhere it was like kind of New York City-ish with like, the big lady holding something and like the districts and
It's a statue of Bella, right? Bella Goth?
That's what I said.
Yeah.
You were listening when I was talking.
That is what you said. I am very tired and I'm on cough medicine, so forgive me. Information gets lost. But I just remember really loving the different districts because you had like the really like downtowny looking districts without having to actually go downtown. But then you also had like the nice like green residential areas, which I really loved.
I did like in like Pleasant when I played Pleasant View, I liked putting the really like apartment buildings in the downtown district in Pleasant View and putting the more like townhome looking ones in Pleasant View or in the business district because that made more sense of like Pleasant View they would have like the townhomes but not like the apartment stacked buildings, but like the city would have the stacked buildings.
Yeah.
And on average, Sims living in Belladonna Cove have around $13,000 simoleons, while the families in Pleasant View started out with $1,000. So they were really just like, fuck it, take some money.
It's just, I guess it's a quality of living thing. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know why they like everybody in Belladonna Cove was like more or less better off, and I don't know why. I don't know if just inflation hit so bad that they were like, we need to give them more money. I don't know what happened, but it's
yeah,
or just end of again It's the last pack, whatever.
Yeah, maybe. They're like, oh, fuck it, whatever. But you could actually see that in the pre-made families as well, because we had the Baldwin family who lived on Teg Terrace, and they had 58,297 simoleons in their starting for, I think, 2-3 people. The Cho family was one of my, like, the Cho and Riley families I really liked, because you had Vivian Cho, who's a single mom, with her kid, Etsu, and then you had the Riley family. They both lived on Sentinel Apartments, but in different units, and Timothy has a daughter, and he met Vivian Cho, and they're dating, or would like to date.
He would like to date. I don't know if Cho understands, so that I don't think Vivian understands that that's what's
Yeah,
going
because
on.
she's like, she wonders if she can find time to spend with that nice man down the hall, and he's like, I wonder if my daughter would like a little sister. So she's like, I would like to spend some time with you, and he's like, I want to adopt your child.
Also, I like that it says down the hall, but I do remember this apartment building is one where each floor is a
Yeah.
different one. So
Yeah.
it's just the one that I was the most intrigued by when I first went into this place was the Cordell family. Samantha and Kimberly, they're a bad sibling rivalry. They got this house that both of them got, but they don't really want to live together, and they've literally split the
Split
house
it
in
in
half.
two. It's
So
so
one half
great.
is like I think pink, and the other half is all dark and black. And
Yeah.
both of them are being approached by different witches, like the
Yeah.
dark side and the light side witches. So like they're the mystical step into the
Yep. It's really great. It's like Charmed if they didn't have a middle sister.
yeah they just if no because Prue's the oldest, and who's the
Phoebe. Phoebe and then later Paige. We don't talk about Billy.
he what? There's one. Where did it go? The Batu family, which starts with 227,000 simoleons.
Yeah.
This one, okay, so this one is very fun. Like, I like going to all the different like family summaries because like you get different POVs. So like when Jessica left him, Armand spent a few months sulking, thinking the son would never come again. But when he adopted little Tara, she convinced him otherwise.
Obviously Annie.
That's like an Annie thing, but also like it's a teenager by the time you get there. And then if you
Yeah.
go to where is she? The Peterson family, and she's in the mobile homes. That's where Jessica is. When Armand de Batu, how do you say this French? How do you say this?
De bateau.
De Bateau.
It basically it means off the boat.
No.
Of the boat.
Demanded an heir, Jessica Peterson knew it was time to leave. She just didn't want to be tied down when Belladonna Cove was so filled with romantic possibilities. Of course, when she left Armand, she also left his vast fortune standing in society. Can she make it on her own? Oh, it does sound like she wasn't there for the long run anyway from that summary.
Obviously.
Like, it wasn't
I
going to
just
work out.
love the way these stories of like the different households just intertwine. Here you have like a clear like explanation of they were together and they split up and this and that. Now she's here and he's there. Or with the two families, you're like you have two single parents, but they're kind of interested in each other. And all sorts of like, you know, they give you enough information to go like these are the possibilities that you have with them. Whereas if like for instance now with the whole Johnny Zest thing, they're just like, could it be? Like, I don't fucking know. You tell us instead of like dangling a carrot in front of our noses.
Or put it in the family tree.
Yeah,
Like,
just make it fucking canon or don't. But make up your minds instead of just going like, maybe, maybe not, maybe, maybe not. Pisses me off. Give me clear lore, please.
they also said there's lore in the tassels for the new pack, and I don't understand.
Yeah,
I
I
need to
don't
look into
I
it
don't know.
more.
It's like you can combine them, but like what's it gonna do? I don't know. But now they're
There's
like
also
yeah, secrets.
there's a secret lot on Belladonna Cove. It's in
Yeah, there is.
you have to hit tab so like your camera starts rotating, and it's Water Vista Palace, and it's a replica of Baba Yaga's hut, complete with chicken feet.
Yep.
It's a huge lot. It's like 50 by 40 or something.
Great.
Just like in the corner.
I used to go there all the time. I love that lot. I'm just a big like witch
Baba Yaga
lore
fan.
fan in general, but like really the Eastern European like witch lore really interests me, and Baba Yaga is just such a great story.
Mm-hmm.
I just fucking love that woman. Who doesn't want to live in a house that walks around on two giant chicken feet?
It is just like a hut though, so it's not the greatest to live in, but it is a big
I
lot.
don't care. You can just move wherever you want to. no property tax because you're technically not on this outlaw.
Well, in the Sims game, there is property tax. Like, that's not, you're still paying bills on that lot. Like,
I mean, technically.
in the game, like,
Fair enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
talking
Thing
in the
is,
game.
what I'm saying is, I would love to live in a house that can walk. Is what I'm saying. But that was a fun little extra that they, for being like a sort of like last pack. That was a fun little thing that they put in there. And it's like you really have to like shift the camera in a certain way to be able to see it, which is fun.
I think somebody was just like, I'm bored, and 45 minutes later, they just plopped
Yeah.
out this build because like it is just like a little hut with
Yep.
like.
It's like, could I possibly, maybe, let's try it. Yep.
My program is down, so I built this. Also, there's no male maids in Belladonna Cove, and there's no female social bunnies. Again, why? I don't know.
Why is that a statistic that you would look up? Is what I want to know. Like, who came to this conclusion? Like, who found out this information?
Don't know. I don't know why it's like that.
Did they use like a census or like government census or something to go like, oh,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's an interesting piece of data to get your hands on.
It's been out for a long time, so some people just live in this game.
So, do you give a damn about your reputation?
Reputation. That song from Grease 2 really fits a lot of words. Sorry. Yes. No?
I was thinking of the other one.
I don't give a damn.
No, the other one from Grease 2. Reproduction.
That's what I just put reputation.
I figured that was it. It was like, I can't remember reputation, but I can remember.
I like to put other words in that because it works with a lot of words. As long as it's
true.
Reproduction, as long as it's a 4-syllable word, you can stuff it into that.
That's, I mean,
that song beat.
Fair.
So reputation, and I don't give a damn about my reputation.
That one too. So reputation in Sims 2. I remember reputation being a thing in Sims 3, but I have very little recollection of what it was like in The Sims 2.
Because again, they added it in the last pack.
Yeah. They could develop, like, so your Sims can develop your reputation based on their activities in a community lot with the members of your neighborhood. So if you wanted to increase your reputation, you could do friendly socials, and you could lower your reputation with unfriendly socials. So if you wanted to be mean to them, you would get a bad reputation. It's kind of the same thing as in The Sims 4, I feel. Do mean stuff, get a bad reputation. Do good stuff, get a good reputation.
It's not too complicated.
If you socialize in a community dorm or a hotel lot, it'll give you points towards your reputation. If you have a good reputation, it'll gain you benefits, and a bad reputation will give you penalties. It's very much like the black and white, like do good, get good, do bad, get bad.
Again, Sims 2 idealized world.
Yeah.
It's what the world we were promised to have was Sims 2.
So there were several stages. You could have social celebrity was like the best thing that you could have for positive reputation.
And also stuff like the prominent personality was one, and you had a chance to accept, like your chance to accept romantic socials were increased, but on the other spectrum, because they were like evenly matched.
Yeah.
And on the other end, if you were a Maldorous menace, if you were a dirty dirtbag, there was a chance of rejection.
Malodorous menace. Yep. Nope. I like it.
The chance of rejecting romance social increases. So like they were like mirrored. So like reputable resident, other Sims nearby react with positive behaviors when you're doing stuff. But on the other side, if you're a dubious delinquent, it goes down when you do stuff. So like it's all mirrored. So like it's all like they all have cute names.
The alliteration is real. Amicable acquaintance. Average cabbage is my favorite.
That's where you start. So unless you're in Belladonna Cove, you start with an average cabbage.
Yeah.
Which mean nothing.
Yep. Definitely don't want to be a sleazy slime ball, though. That's the worst.
But there was also a secret networking thing that happened within this. So when you meet a townie for the first time, there's a 30% chance. I could not spell when I was typing this out. They were given a secret networking thing based on their relation.
That's a Patreon bonus.
So I'll put it back to 30% chase. They would give a secret network thing on their relationship. So like if you had a good reputation and you met a new townie, like you could get a free high-tech object, or they could lower your rent, or they could get you higher wages, or get
instant blind date. Like, how do you even it was like, "Hey, I know I just met you, but, like, do you wanna go out with my sister? She's ready to go right now. She's dressed, she got her hair did, like, she's ready to go."
And there's penalties. So if you had a bad reputation, they could get you demoted. They could get you a higher rent. You could be the office pariah. More expensive build buy objects. Like so, there were a lot of gameplay things with your
You'd be an
reputation.
asshole, but it would literally cost you.
Hmm.
Yeah, so let's talk about kind of like the black sheep in this pack. The one thing we did not see coming, witches. Sure, it's like it's called apartment life, and it's all about apartments and reputations and this and that. Also witches.
Do you think it's because the Sims 2 forums were complete? There's not a lot of magic in Sims 2.
No, we just had the werewolves and vampires, I believe. Those were the different life states that we had. Well, an
And
alien
Plant Sim.
and plant sim, but that wasn't really like fantasy style magic.
No. But then just is like witches, magic, potions. What?
But technically, we already talked about them in a previous episode.
Did you talk about the sub neighborhood?
I believe we did because you had the sub neighborhood with like the evil witches layer
Okay,
and
cool.
like the good witches layer. And,
I couldn't remember when I was writing this. We talked about it, and I was like, I feel like it's just another thing. Where like, fuck it, put a sub neighborhood in.
because there was a scale for witches. You had white witch, and then you had brown witch, which was neutral, and then you had like black witch, which is like evil, and you could go to the lots of these so you had a good witch and you had a bad witch. You didn't have a neutral witch.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Little column A, little column B.
Only bad witches are ugly. What a backhanded compliment. Only bad witches
Right.
are ugly. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? You're a blah person. Are you?
Thanks. You look a little drab in the face, hun. I can't really tell. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
One of my favorite things to quote from Wizard of Oz that like has no business being anywhere is can you even dye my eyes to match my gown? Jolly old town.
Oh,
Like there's
God.
no reason for that to pop up anywhere, but like it rolls through. You know how like some things just roll through your brain? That rolls through my brain of just like, can you even dye my eyes to match my gown?
But you could go to the sub neighborhoods for these witches, which was like the good witch's house or the bad witch's house, and you could buy ingredients there or furniture or whatever to kind of like match your witchy status. But yeah, that's basically the thing that you had to. I think we already talked about it. We talked about all the potions you could make, all the spells you could make, how you could become a witch, how you could get rid of being a witch, blah blah blah.
Do we know what episode that was?
I've looked through it, but we've done so many I couldn't find it. I think it was the one where we were talking about making magic, about magic in The Sims.
Why my Spotify on my computer is being such a bitch, but we're gonna do it on my phone. Under the Plumbob.
We'll figure it out. We'll link it below. Put it in the show notes. Like, by the way, if you want to learn more about witches, go here. Listen to this episode.
So we did talk about witches and magic stuff in episode 82, which is Down the Magic Hole, and again in episode 143, Gotta Get Turned.
But we talk about it, so if you want to, learn more about it, you can go back and listen to that episode. But did you know, though, like we mentioned before, that the budget that your Sims started out with got bumped up a little bit with apartment life, because they usually started with 20K. I mean, who wouldn't want to have 20K to just like start their life with, right? But that actually got topped up with an extra amount per sim in the household, which was, I mean, obviously if you have one person starting out with 20K or 8 people starting out with 20K, there's a...
Do you know what the bonus was per sim?
I tried to look for it, but it all depended on like
Kid or adult?
the age of the sim, etc., etc. So no, I didn't find like I don't think there's any like real like solid numbers out there like this much per this person, this much per this person. It was different factors that decided it. So no. But what I can 100% say for certain is that this is where we began with the plague of the Murphy bed.
Oh, there are 2 new deaths then with this game.
I don't know if the Murphy bed could actually kill you in this one. I looked it up, couldn't find it.
I know it could eat you.
Could it eat you?
It would sometimes shut on you. I do know that. It wasn't safe. If you have apartment life, you can purchase a Murphy bed, a bed that fills. If you direct a sim with low motives and a body skill less of 5 to lower the Murphy bed, there's a possibility of the bed falling on your sim and crushing them to death.
Oh, so they could die. Okay, so it was death by flies or death by Murphy bed. So this is where it all started. But speaking of beds, the Murphy bed is not the only thing we got. Because if you played The Sims 1, you will remember the one, the only, heart-shaped bed. That's right. Making its return in The Sims 2 Apartment Life. They were like, we should probably, like, people have been asking for this for so long. Let's give it to them in the last pack.
Last pack, don't throw it in.
Yep. Heart-shaped bed is like, is there any specific reason why this would come in a pack about apartments and status and reputation and witches? No, but it's there. Just take it. It's fine. And honestly, happy. Another thing that we got, and which is one of my absolute favorite things that I ever used in The Sims 2 and even in 3, I was so happy when we got it in 3, sliding door bookcase.
It's so cool. It's in the apartment. They stuffed it in some of the apartment builds, and you're like, why?
Who does not want a sliding door bookcase? Because, right, don't, like, most of us deep down just want to live in a little cottage with a sliding bookcase door that leads to an endlessly haunted library? Because that's what I want. Right?
Or a Batman cave, or anything, or
just sliding book. I mean, there's so many. I see TikToks sometimes of people who make these things with IKEA bookshelves. It's like, hey, I made my own secret bookcase doors.
That makes sense though, because it's just cardboard back there and they're easy to move. Like,
yeah.
IKEA bookcase would be ideal for a sliding
I
bookcase.
would love that. I don't have the space for it, and I don't want to cut into a wall. So,
want to know what we also got in this? Spiral staircases, which I
God,
miss greatly.
I was doing a build in The Sims 4 the other day, and I was like, the one thing that would make this perfect right now, spiral staircase. But we don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
But they were so great. Yeah.
Also, fun fact, kids and teenagers can slide down the railings of a spiral staircase.
How is that not the most amazing thing ever? Like, why don't you give spiral staircases and let us do this?
And it's because, like, it doesn't happen all the time, so sometimes you won't be paying attention, and then, like,
and then you see them sliding off the stairs going like, what the fuck? I love that so
and you can't,
much.
I don't think you can make them do it. It's just something, like...
Yeah, no, it just happens.
It just happens.
I love it.
And we got walk-in closets.
So, oh, yeah, the walk-in closets. That's right. We also got that there. Oh, man.
As far as, like, quality of life stuff that we got a lot of, like, little small things that, like, oh, but you could finally see the ceiling for the first time in this pack, which was like, oh, we couldn't see ceilings before. That's
the
funny.
toddlers that could huggle each other was very cute. So freaking cute.
2 Sims that were sleeping in the same bed, if they would wake up, if they were in a romantic relationship, they'd wake up and they'd snuggle before they woke up. It would make them late, and it would piss. I'd be like, let's go, you need to wake up and get out of bed, and they'd be late. So you'd have to wake them up.
And then sometimes it will be the lady will be the little spoon, but sometimes the man will be the big spoon. And
I think it depended on who was actually waking up, like who
woke up first.
You could break dance.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Also classic dance, and in classic dance you
probably because there was an urban element to it with, like, the downtown apartment areas. They were like, urban break dance. Sure.
Dancing. The classic dance got updated, and you can do, like, a dip and a dip kiss.
The dip kiss was my favorite thing.
Also, you could there were 2 new kisses. There was a dance kiss and also suck face.
Which is just the funniest freaking thing. And they'd literally be like, and then
they wouldn't be touching, like they'd be
no. Wouldn't they, like, bonk their teeth together as well?
Yeah,
or
something? So you can make just 2 grown adults just not know what they were doing.
Making out like teen. I think this was, like, a kiss specifically intended, like, for teenagers, but you could do it as adults too. And having 2 elders do it was just the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Sims could now walk to school or work if they missed the carpool. I don't know why this took till this last
Finally, it's like, I missed the carpool. Oh, well, I guess I can't go to work. Hey, boss, sorry.
I don't have a car because I didn't have nightlife. No. It's like, what a weird thing to wait till the last pack to introduce. So Sims has always been bad about being like this tiny quality of life shit. And you can now woohoo in the closet or in the helicopter. So
there's a coming out of the closet joke in there somewhere, but I'm not gonna make it. I'm not
I
gonna
like how sometimes there's a joke here and I don't know what it is. But someone could put it together.
Yeah, just like, it's there. But you could also, like, the helicopter. Do you remember that helicopter?
The helicopter was featured very prominently in, like, the intro to Sims 2, but it was only in, like, a carpool situation, and then you could actually get a helicopter in this game. And it's finally, like, you had it's been in the game because it's one of the carpool options. So like I don't understand why I couldn't buy it before.
Now you can, but you can't really do anything with it. It's not,
It's
it has the
transportation.
same functionality as a car, but it doesn't work the same way a car does. Like, you can take off in the helicopter, but I don't think you could actually land. Like, you wouldn't see.
You just walk onto the lot.
Yeah. She's like, sorry, I had to park my helicopter down the way because there wasn't a helipad here. So, but yeah, that's Sims 2 apartment life.
This pack is very funny to me. Like, it's also, I had for a long time, because I only had Nightlife, and then this was the only other pack I was even remotely interested in. So this is the one I got, and I like it a lot. I do like this pack a lot. Like, just, it's a lot of variety. The cast was cute. It's a lot of sportwear, but along with, like, some witchcore stuff and things, like...
The witchcore stuff was fun, because, like, the good witch stuff was, like, a light blue and white gold kind of thing, and then you had, like, the... Bad witch stuff was like black, and then you had the neutral witch, which was brown. They all like a brown. Do we know a neutral color? Brown. Like, you could have gone for a nice beige or something. No, brown, and it was like really like brown, like Radagast, the brown. I don't know. I just remember being so disappointed that like the neutral witch stuff was brown.
This picture is funny to me. Hold on. I don't know what's going on in it, but
what the fuck? Oh yeah, because they did make a distinction between witches and warlocks as well.
Yeah.
You had a witch and you had the warlock. So
I'm trying to look for good cat. It was very there was
so much. There was always so much.
And it had a lot of cute dresses, I remember, and
yeah. It was a good pack but it was so random because it was just like, here is the main theme, but also here have some random stuff thrown in. Because, I mean, the Murphy bed kind of made sense because it's a space saver, but the witches was like, yes, apartments, witches make sense.
You're like, I guess.
I guess it does kind of fit that one lot where the two sisters were living, and they're like, one's good witch, one's bad witch, and they have this rivalry going on, and like, that makes sense. But it's such a random thing to put in there, because like, none of the spells or whatever that you got would kind of like help with what you could do apartment-wise.
No.
It's a strange amalgamation of stuff.
I also wonder if like what you said, like the stuff people were working on, but then they were like, well, we're gonna do Sims 3, so like whatever you think can be done and put in this pack, we're not gonna make another.
All in there.
They did, like the whatever the garden thing was after this, but like
the mansion garden stuff pack was that was a stuff pack, right?
Yeah. And like maybe there was just stuff like maybe this was gonna be another pack, but they were doing Sims 3, so they were like, yep, just whatever.
Yeah, just throw it in there. It's fine. But yeah, that's apartment life. And I believe one of our next episodes, we're going to look at the new apartments in Sims 4 for rent. And there are going to be opinions, I am assuming.
What? What opinions?
Opinions? Never. Look, I have opinions about what it takes to start a landlord
I think
revolt.
your game is just mad at you because I tried and I don't know. So Nancy blackmailed 3 of her people. She actively just didn't help them, and she had a 4-star rating, and I don't know why.
Maybe because like bad landlords are the new normal, so everybody's just used to their landlords being dickheads. So
I don't know if that's how it works in The Sims, but okay. I don't think Sims respect. I don't think your reality affects what happens in the programmed game.
Don't know. But I just remember I wasn't even a landlord for 24 hours yet, and somebody already revolted. And then I tried to fix it by doing what the game told me to do, but I couldn't do it. Like, it wouldn't register.
Did you repair your game?
I have already. It just I don't know.
You took out the mods, right? No mods.
No mods. Did the same thing. I've tried it all.
Because like I know like the new updates affected a lot of mods because they affected UI. So like a lot of the UI mods got really messed up because
I only have the one, and that one's been updated. And even when I took it out, I tried it again, and
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think maybe your game's. I don't know.
I don't know. It's the same. It's the same. Like, some people can actually sell their wedding cakes to bakery. Mine doesn't. Mine doesn't let it. Still can't. I do wonder.
Are you attached to any save file in your game? Have you deleted
my current one?
Delete every other save file.
I'll give it a shot and just keep the
delete
one that
every
I'm
save
working
file,
on.
or just restart, or just completely uninstall it and reinstall it.
Oh, good lord. Okay, but I'm gonna have to put that Willow Creek house onto the gallery then, because that's not entirely finished yet.
Would be my
I will
guess.
save that. I'll put that on the gallery and I'll give it a shot. I did clean out a lot of my save files like very recently. Just got rid of a
That
whole
would be
bunch
like,
of them.
I would also highly recommend people do that, because if you have a save file from like when the game first started or something, like it could be a glitch from somewhere back there is affecting a new thing.
I cleaned them out fairly recently, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go through them again. But anyway, that was it. That was the Sims 2 apartment life. Next will be probably For Rent. But this was fun. Got to go back down memory lane. I don't think we need to specifically talk about apartments in The Sims 3 because, you know, it kind of like just did what it said on the tin. There was an apartment. There were elevators.
So I don't. Oh, there were elevators in this one too. I also never played it.
Yeah, but it was part of a bigger pack. It was part of the whole nightlife thing.
Oh,
So
but
it
we
wasn't.
didn't. And I know from going through, I think we already talked about nightlife.
Yeah, I think we did. So
Yes, we talked about Sims 3 Late Night in episode 118.
yeah, there won't be that, but there will be The Sims 4 for rent. Anyway, you can tell us how you liked this episode on our social medias. You can also tell us how you liked Sims 2 Apartment Life if you played it. Did you also think it was super random that they had witches in there? Or did you think it was like super normal? Because who wouldn't associate apartments with witches? You can find us on Instagram and Twitter under Plumbobcast. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit. We are Under the Plumbob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr. We have a website, plumbobcast.com. There's a contact form there, or our email, undertheplumbobpodcast@gmail.com, if you want to say hi. We have merch, which you can find in the description below. We have some water bottles, and we have some hoodies, and we have little satchels that are apparently super cute. So in real life, I meant like they're super cute on a picture, but I think Jess got it in real life, and they look,
yeah, it was cute. I do
they
remember
look
that.
super cute, and I want
I
one.
guess.
No, I want one. But you can also join our Patreon if you want, because you probably heard me mention when Caitlin tried to fix a typo in the script that I said that's for the Patreon, and that is for the Patreon. That's Patreon bonus. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/plumbobcast. I'm tired.
I hate our name so much
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Choices were made, and now we have to live with the consequences. But you can join that Patreon. We have a $1 tier, which is the Broke Newbie family, which gives you access to our private Discord to chat with your fellow Citizens and UTPB team members. Definitely recommend that because there's some really talented people on there. A lot of us crochet or knit, and we make amazing things. Some of us make amazing food. We talk about books, we talk about games, we talk about all sorts of things. There's also the Top Hat Money $3 tier, which gives you the Discord access, plus you get a monthly bonus episode. And what do we talk about on these bonus episodes?
Whatever the hell we want.
All sorts of things. We've done true crime. We've done special spooky Halloween episodes where we talk about spooky spaghettis or demonic games that you can play alone in the dark.
It is fundamentally, this is my hyperfixation right now, and I need to just blah it out.
Yeah, I
so
think
I can move on.
Didn't we? Is that going to be a bonus now or not? It's basically Caitlin, Julia, and I talking about the Astarian dating simulator called.
That would have come
Baldur's Gate
out
3.
right.
That
That's
come
going on
out.
as it's a special tuck-in bonus episode of sometimes other games steal us from. They would have previously heard this. Other games steal us from The Sims, and Baldur's Gate 3 was one of them. And we were correct that it did indeed win Game of the Year because we recorded that like several months ago.
That is a very, very big element of pride for me because, as you know, I am Belgian, and the studio that produced the game is Belgian. It's Larian. They're situated in Ghent, and that is very, very, very good thing for me. I'm very happy.
Julia got what she wanted. Neil did win best.
Neil did win best.
He did win. He did do a great job. I think the only other person I would have liked to have won it was the narrator, just because like the amount of work she had. Jesus, she had to do so much.
Yeah.
So Neil deserved it, and it's a very good game.
Well deserved. But that's like the kind of stuff that we talk about on our bonus episode. Maybe we could do a bonus episode about Palea. Julia and I are currently working and like legitimately working, like reading books and reading papers and stuff about the history of witch trials in Europe, because we did it first before it came to Salem.
We made it fashionable though, so
Yeah, it's just
you
like everything
started
else.
it. We made it better.
The Americans made it mainstream. But I am specifically doing research on the witch trials in Belgium and like the Netherlands. Julia is researching witch trials in Sweden, so we're going to be talking about that, which might be interesting to some. These are bonuses that you can get. Just hear us talk about random shit. So please subscribe, rate, and review. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, Pandora, maybe possibly more. I don't know.
Well, not Stitcher anymore.
No, not Stitcher anymore. So forget I said Stitcher. We'll take that out. We would also like to thank our wonderful writing and research team.
Us.
Thank you, Caitlin.
And you.
We are always grateful to the wonderful Sims fan sites that are out there that provide us with most of our research and news.
Sims
In this
Wiki.
case, Sims Wiki is just our ride and die, man.
I was thinking about giving them money today.
Yeah,
I was
we should
looking at it
probably,
going like, I should probably give Sims Wiki money. We're on here all the time.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's it. And we would also absolutely like to thank you for listening and for, in this case, starting off another wonderful year of podcasting with us and for loving the game as much as we do.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, it's just a great fandom to share with such a great community. And we love you for it. So thank you and see you next time. So bye.
Bye.
That was a long one, man.